Miss something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. AM 1050 KCAA. We leave no listener behind.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's a child of God, a husband, NRA conservative, radical right-wing supervillain, and Twitter rock star. American by birth, Texan by choice, and a badass by nature. He's the owner of TomO'Halloran.com, O'HalloranMedia.com, and PatriotRadio.net. Please welcome Tom O'Halloran.
There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Welcome. This must be Friday because this is Jihad on America with Tom O'Halloran, and I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. Broadcasting tonight from an underground bunker deep in the heart of Arcantana, Brascarado, to educate, irritate, and agitated. And patriots, if you're not agitated by the time we're done, the terrorists may have already won. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight, please call in at 888-909-1050. If you want to listen on your phone, call 832-999-1050. You can also listen to the live stream on your computer, or even now, you can watch the live stream video. Go to PatriotRadioShow.com. Again, my name is Tom O'Halloran. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm TPO_hisself. My primary blog is TomO'Halloran.com. When you get there, be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, any other social media you like. Also, while there, please follow my editor, Veronica Coffin. She manages the network of websites that we have, and without her doing that, I couldn't do this. You'll find her follow button at the bottom of each and every post. Also, please stop by PatriotRadioShow.com and like us there. We've also got a Facebook page, Facebook.com/PatriotRadioShow. And please also stop by the website for this show, JihadOnAmerica.com. I'm on the air 3 nights a week, so please be sure to watch Patriot Radio on Tuesdays at the same time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, it is Patriot Radio with Tom O'Halloran, and Friday, I do Jihad on America. On this show, I cover the Islamists in America, who they are, what they want, and why you should be afraid. Tonight we'll be talking about the Islamists, what they're doing here and abroad. And we cover the news abroad because it's a glimpse into the future of America, because they have patterns. They do certain things when their percentage of the population is a certain number. And as it grows, we know the different things that they will be doing and increasing their voice, their demands. If you did not catch my show on the Muslim Brotherhood, if you did not catch my show, Islam is not a religion, please find your way to PatriotRadioShow.com. You will never look at Islam. You will never look at a Muslim the same way again. I hold nothing back. I tell you the facts. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Do America a favor. Go to PatriotRadioShow.com and watch these 2 shows. It'll also give you a good foundation upon which we build each week at this hour. Tonight we'll continue pulling back the mask of Islam. We'll be looking at what they're doing here. Keep abreast of my shows. Listen to the live stream as well as archive shows that you may have missed, all on PatriotRadioShow.com. I'd like to thank my sponsor for tonight's show, noted columnist and author Colin Flaherty, author of White Girl Bleed a Lot. almost 400 pages, story after story after story of the return of racial violence to America and how the media ignore it. Horrible stories. 12 to 20 black youths swarming on an innocent, unprotected, indefensible, elderly white woman, sometimes Asian, but they're always defenseless. They play a game that they call the knockout game. The object is to hit a person from behind one time and see if you can knock them out. Failing that, they just keep swinging till you're down and then kick you until you're out. Also, two of my friends have released books in the last several weeks. National Review columnist Jim Garrity came out with Weed Agency. The Weed Agency is a government agency, Washington, D.C., designed to keep weeds out of our yards. It was decided that it wasn't really a necessary agency, and they tried to defund it and close it down. But every time they do, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like the very weeds it's designed to get rid of. It's a hilarious book. It's kind of Carl Hiaasen or P.J. O'Rourke go to Washington, D.C. You've got to pick up the book. Also, Kurt Schlichter just released Conservative Insurgency. Just started this book the other day, The Struggle to Take America Back, 2009 to 2041. It's a look back from 30 years out at how we're going to move the country back on track and restore our American values. We're going to start the show tonight the same way we start it every Friday by talking about the religion of peace, Islam, and what they've done in the last 7 days since I was here sharing this information with you. Over 48 attacks, over 500 dead, over 325 injured. Syria, 23 guards and 16 civilians in an oil field are ambushed and executed by ISIS. Nigeria, pro-caliphate militants slaughter over 36 residents and burn churches in a raid on a Christian farming village. Afghanistan, a Shaheed suicide bomber at a market sends 89 souls to Allah. Iraq, a dozen Iraqis lose their lives to an ISIS assault. Benghazi, over 24 people killed in an attack claimed by an Islamic militia. Iraq, fundamentalists enter a brothel and massacre over 30 people, including 28 women. Iraq, a Shaheed suicide car bombing ends the lives of 28 innocents, including women and children. These people are vile. Syria, at least 18 people are killed during an al-Nusra attack that begins with a suicide bombing. My friends, these are Muslims killing Muslims. Their goal is to kill everyone who is not a Muslim. If there's not a non-Muslim within their reach, they will kill another Muslim that they don't feel is as radical as they are. It is not a religion of peace. It is a religion of blowing people to pieces. And if you doubt this in any way, in any shape, or any form, please go to patriotradioshow.com and listen to my show, Islam is Not a Religion. I promise you, you will hear things that you have never heard about Islam, and it's all fact and it's all verifiable. All Muslims are not terrorists, but all Muslims are followers of Muhammad, who is a goat-raping pedophile. And they're all told to emulate Muhammad. Muhammad executed anyone that was not or would not convert to Islam. And all Muslims are told to emulate Muhammad. Ergo, they may not all be terrorists, but if they're not good Muslims, and they're going to be executed as well, because their mission is to end our lives. Folks, we've got to pay some bills. Stick around. We've got a whole lot of stuff to go over tonight. I promise you, you will not fall asleep.
This is KCAA, the most most diversified radio station on the dial, AM 1050 KCAA.
Tom O'Halloran, holding the line against tyranny from Washington, D.C.
I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. There is still work that must be done. I will not rest until we've won. I am America.
Welcome back. This is Jihad on America, and I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. We've been talking for weeks about ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. They're an offshoot of Al-Qaeda. They've swarmed through Syria. They've taken over about a third of Iraq. They're getting ready to take over Baghdad, which will give them control of all of Iraq. They've been doing it militantly. They're the most savage terrorist organization on the planet. They will kill with bullets, with bombs, with beheadings, with hangings, and with crucifixions. But to this point, it's been swarming through and killing security forces, killing anybody resisting their taking over. But they haven't really been in the administration of communities. And this has just taken a turn. In the northern Syrian province of Raqqa, they've accused a woman of adultery. They held a court. They sentenced her, and they stoned her to death the same day. It's new. It's been done in Iraq for hundreds of years, but it's the first time that they have actually taken a role in administering what they call justice. So watch for more ugly stuff from them. A little twist in the historical perspectives this week. Israel has always been America's strongest ally in the Middle East. It is the only country where all religions can be practiced openly and freely and securely. Every other country, they'll burn churches, they kill you if you're Christians. Mubarak kept peace for 40 years in Egypt. He was a dictator. He was stern, but he kept the Muslim Brotherhood out of the country and kept the peace. He kept Israel safe. Obama came in and decided safe wasn't the objective. He wanted to cozy up to the Islamists. So he began funding the terrorists, began funding Al-Qaeda. They're putting guns and weapons in the hands of the same guys that are killing our sons, our fathers, our brothers and mothers and sisters over in Iraq, in Syria, and in Afghanistan. He funded an uprising to overthrow Mubarak and to actually put the Muslim Brotherhood in control of an entire country, the country of Egypt. That lasted barely a year, and the people rose up organically without any fake funded money from Obama. They rose up, they held a rebellion, and they had the Muslim Brotherhood thrown out. Well, now it comes to pass that Hamas is one of the controlling arms in Palestine. And they've been sending rockets into Israel for decades. Hamas, like ISIS, is an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood and Al-Qaeda. They're all birds of a feather. Now the Egyptian government, Muslims, mind you, Muslims, the media in Egypt, more Muslims, they are praising Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, praising him for his strength, for returning rocket fire to the Palestinians, returning rocket fire into Gaza at the people that are shelling them and killing Israeli people. Egyptians know better than most how evil, how horrid these savage Islamists can be. A major Egyptian news commentator called on her country to join Egypt in wiping out Hamas. Another pundit, Azza Sami of the Al-Haram newspaper, said, "Thank you, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. May God give us more people like you to destroy Hamas." So the Egyptians, the Muslim people that have separated themselves from the Muslim Brotherhood, that has the wisdom to say, these terrorists are not leaders. They're not supposed to be in charge of a country. They're praising the good people of Israel. They're praising their president, Hussein Obama, scolds Israel for shelling the people that are trying to kill them. Now, let's get real clear. Hamas is a terrorist organization. The United States recognizes this. You cannot sell a laptop computer to Hamas because that is trading with a terrorist organization. But Obama supports them. The paragraph 1 of the Hamas charter is, we exist to wipe out Israel and kill all the Jews. And Obama wants Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu to sit down and negotiate. How do you negotiate with somebody that wants to cut your throat? They hate Israel more than they love their own babies. These Hamas scumbags will take bombs to their very children, their own children, and send them out to kill Jews. How are the Jews supposed to negotiate with these people? Switching gears for a little bit, over in Africa, Nigeria, Boko Haram, the terrorist group that Obama and Hillary Clinton refused to classify as a terrorist group because they hadn't killed quite enough people. They're the ones that kidnapped 200 schoolgirls from one school and 300 from another school. They're selling these children as sex slaves. They're raping these children, gang raping them, and then cutting their throats. One poor child got on her knees after being gang raped and begged for forgiveness, begged for them to have patience to let her be gang raped again instead of taking her life. These scumbags that Obama doesn't see as terrorists, they're just killing Christian girls. It's not like they're killing Muslims. They've destroyed 900 schools in Borno and Shatima. They've murdered 178 teachers so far. This is supposed to be the religion of peace. You talk to any Muslim and they will tell you Islam is a religion of peace. Where is it? Where is it? All I see is blood. All I see is death. All I see is hatred. All I see is refusing to accept anything except Islam. A UN report came out this week. At least 5,576 civilians have been killed this year in Iraq alone. At least 11,665 have been wounded since January. The Islamic State, ISIS, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. Last month, insurgents seized a swath of land in northern Iraq, including the largest city of Mosul. Of the 2,400 people killed in June, 1,500 were civilians. 1,500. They're now supposedly in control of over $2 billion. That's billion with a B, my friends. $2 billion worth of gold and cash. Islam is not a peaceful religion. And my friends on the left, my liberals, my progressive friends, I love you as God says I should love you. But you need to wake up, because I know many of you out there say, we must love the Muslims. We must embrace them. And then you turn around and you say, we must embrace our gay, our LGBT friends. You need to wake up, because the Muslims are hanging and they are beheading anyone they come across as gay. In Iraq, they're holding gay checks. They have doctors stick a device about the size of an egg up a man's anus in a fake attempt to see if he's been violated before. Well, if he wasn't then, he is now. This is a rape in its own right. If they're declared gay, homosexual, they are beheaded. My friends on the left, you have to wake up. It's time to wake up and make a choice. Do you want to have homosexual friends, gay friends, or do you want to have Islamic friends? Because one group wants to kill all your other friends. Folks, we got a lot more on the table. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Before we take our next break, I just want to say thank you and God bless you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I know there's a lot to do on a Friday night, and I appreciate it every single time you show up. We'll be right back.
Thousands of people just like you get all the information they need on AM 1050 KCAA Radio.
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam all on the Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America.
Welcome back. Welcome back, friends. This is Jihad on America, and I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. Make sure you tune in every Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for this show. Continuing on where we left the last set, the attack on Israel has reached a new level, a historical level. And this is all because of Barack Hussein Obama. He's hated the Jews. He's embraced the Muslims, the Islamists at every turn. Every chance he gets, he sends money to Muslim Brotherhood, to Al-Qaeda, to the very people that are trying to put America out of business. For the first time in history, Israel is being attacked from four sides: Lebanon, Syria, Gaza, and the Sinai. From four sides, and all with weapons either directly given to them by Obama or with weapons they bought from money that was given to them from Obama. For the very first time in history, the last time Israel was attacked by multiple Muslim states was in 1967. There was a war. Egypt, Jordan, and Syria attacked. And since that war ended, Egypt has kept the peace. And they haven't let anybody else attack either. It's just been Palestine, the neighbors. And they throw shells into Israel, mostly to stir up media so people would send money to them. That's what it is. They hate the Jews. They don't think Jews have a right to exist. It's in their charter to wipe them out. But the fact of the matter is, the people of Palestine, which isn't a country, but the Palestinian people voted the Palestinian Authority out of office. They were greedy. The Palestinian Authority was taking the money that was supposed to go to the people, and they were getting rich off of it. They voted Hamas into office. Hamas is a terrorist organization. Years later, Hamas and Fatah jointly ran things for the last several years. Now it turns out Professor Ahmed Karima of Al-Azhar University in Egypt noted that in recent years, it's the Hamas, it's the millionaires, the leadership and mid-level officials. There are over 1,200 millionaires in the leadership and the mid-level positions. Millionaires. Hamas can boast no fewer than 1,200 millionaires that have never held a job. Their job is just to lob missiles into Israel, stir up the press, stir up the media, and raise money. They take the money that's given from Israel. Israel every month sends money over to help the poor in Palestine. The United States sends money every month to help the poor people. It's all being skimmed off. The money's not going to the poor people. 40% unemployment in the Gaza Strip right now. The head of Hamas has amassed a fortune of $2.6 billion, his personal wealth. Personal wealth from what? That's the money he's made by bombing Israel. Because his money comes from money that's sent to support the poor people. And he's been skimming it off the top the whole time. $2.6 billion while his people starve. Let's come on back home now. You say, well, the fights, the Islamist hate against the Jews, that's over there. That's not going to bother us here, right? This is America, Hollywood. Half of Hollywood are movie studios. They're all Jewish. They're run by Jewish. The media is all there. They're run by Jews. Of course, we're not going to have anti-Jewish sentiment in America. Well, it turns out about 1,200 Israel supporters flocked to a community solidarity meeting outside the Los Angeles Federal Building this last weekend. Though largely peaceful, the demonstration's conclusion was marred. A bunch of Palestinians came in and took over one of the four corners of the intersection, started shouting and yelling things. Then a truck came by with Palestinians in the back holding large sticks, and it drove by slowly, and they started beating Israelis standing on the curbside, peacefully protesting the way Jews are prone to do, the way Americans are prone to do. And these Palestinians start beating them with sticks. A Homeland Security officer standing by saw it and actually fired rounds into the vehicle. There is no peace with Islam. They cannot peacefully coexist. They never have, and they never will. How can you peacefully coexist as a Christian, as a Jew, with somebody who says their goal in life is to kill all non-Muslims? How could you sleep at night even living next door to one? If you doubt anything that I am saying, please go to patriotradioshow.com. Listen to 2 shows. If you disagree with me, every week I give up my phone number and ask you to call in. Listen to the Muslim Brotherhood show. Listen to Jihad Is Not a Religion. If you doubt anything that I say in those two shows, call in. My call-in number is 888-909-1050. I promise you, you listen to two shows, you will never look at Islam. You will never listen to a Muslim speak again the same way that you have. You can't. It will be impossible for you to do so. Sweden is now the rape capital of the world. 4 out of 5 rapes are by Muslim men raping blonde women. They call them whores because they show their face, they show their legs. They're whores, they're animals, they're available for rape. In Norway, Christian women often dye their hair black or even wear a hijab. They dress like a Muslim just not to be raped by these savages. Don't you think this isn't going to come to America? Don't think it's not going to happen here, because it will. I promise you. Listen to Islam Is Not a Religion. I take you through step by step by step how it happens. 2% of the population is Muslim. This is going to be happening. When the Muslims get to be 5% of the population, this happens. When they're 10%, this happens. And I tell you what countries are at what stages of the process. It's calculable. You know it's coming if you take your head out of the sand. I said when I opened the show, I am here to educate, irritate, and agitate. By God, if this doesn't agitate you, then you're just not listening. This is already in America. Look at Dearborn, Michigan. Look at sections of Nashville. Look at areas of New York and California. They're having Muslim food brought into the cafeteria. Your children, your Christian children, can't have pork because pork can't be served in the same kitchen as Muslim food. So they're converting the schools to Muslim. We have Muslim prayer rooms in our public school system. Wake up, people. It's happening here, and it's just going to get worse. Western leadership is part of the problem, because Americans, the Brits, the French, the Swedes, the Nords, they've all turned a blind eye to this. A couple of years ago, when British soldier Lee Rigby was beheaded by a Nigerian Muslim in the streets of England, in the streets of London, I think it was, Prime Minister Cameron went on TV and proclaimed that the death had nothing to do with Islam. He was corrected by a terrorist group that pointed out that Islam is exactly what it was about. The soldier was non-Muslim. It was his job to be executed. The Muslim was doing his duty. It wasn't an aberrant. It wasn't an odd Muslim that did it. It was a Muslim doing what he was supposed to do, to kill non-Muslims. That's their mission. And it's happening here. Not nearly as much and not nearly in as many places. But as Obama opens the floodgates and lets these people come in by the hundreds and by the thousands, and don't think they're not coming, because there are prayer rugs at the Mexican border. Why are there prayer rugs coming up through Mexico? It's happening here. And he wants it to happen here, because he is one of them, and he wants to see the end of the America you know, the America you love. My friends, we need another break. We'll be right back.
We can't be everything to everyone, or can we? The station that leaves no listener behind, AM 1050 KCAA.
Guardian of our constitutional republic, founder of PatriotRadio.net, ladies and gentlemen, Tom O'Halloran.
Stuff your pockets while Rome is burning. I've got a feeling that the tide is turning. I am America.
Thank you. And welcome back. This is Jihad on America. I am your host, Tom O'Halloran. A little bit of a side note, just because it's so important. I mentioned before the break that we are getting Islamists up through the Mexican border. We know there have been hundreds and possibly thousands. We know they are learning to speak Spanish. This is very discerning. We're being invaded by people that want to kill us, that are committed to killing us, people that hate us more than they love their own family. But what's happening on the southern border is more than just an Islamic threat. And I don't usually do this on a Friday night show because it is a jihad show. But the media isn't covering it. I want to share with you what's happening. It's horrid. It's awful. And I said months ago when I started the show, Obama knew at the beginning of the year that we were going to have an influx of hundreds of thousands of people. Well, it's now 290,000 people have crossed our border since January. Over 60,000 are actual children. A lot more that are pretending to be children, but some of them have gray hair. I said early on that even in the old illegal immigration, when farmers and apple pickers and their wives came across the border in onesie-twosies, wanting to find a better life for their family. Even then, when the women came across solo, they'd be coming up through Mexico or through Central America, and they would be raped, and some of them would get killed. As the numbers are growing exponentially now, as children are coming unaccompanied, you would have to be blind not to know that these children are going to be raped, they're going to be abused, and some of them are going to be killed. And it breaks my heart to tell you, I brought it up on my Patriot Radio show on Wednesday, but I need my Friday night audience to know what's happening, and you may not have heard. Of the 60,000 unaccompanied children that have come up, 60,000 children unaccompanied this year, 30% of them have been raped or at least sexually assaulted en route. That's 10,000 sexual assaults or rapes on children. These are all because Obama has opened the floodgates. These are rapes that he needs to be convicted of. These are his crimes. He made it possible. He lured the kids here. He made it so that the parents would allow them to come, so the parents would be able to become citizens through their kids. And in this last week, it has been found out that several little tiny bodies have washed up on the shore of the Rio Grande. Whether these kids were raped and then killed, or just too slow to move along and tossed over the side, or not fed and died, we don't know right now. Hopefully we'll find out, but I don't expect a word of truth from our government. Everything that's happening is happening in secrecy. These people are brought into the country, held on an Air Force base, and even our senators are having a hard time getting in to review the situation. Cities across the country are standing up and saying, we don't want these people brought here. A school in Connecticut had 500 illegal aliens into their school. 500 of them, 240 of them were in the senior year. Several of these were turned away because they had gray hair. They're coming up declaring they're children so they get free passes. But some of them are as old as 30 years old, claiming to be 17 and 18. If they're allowed into the country, you need to know that Obamacare's basic health care program has taxpayer subsidized provisions and cost sharing that will give them better health care than you have. The statute clearly limits who's eligible for the BHP, but Health and Human Services rule opens the door to others being deemed eligible. And they're going to get a better class of health care, and they won't pay a dime because Obama lured them here with the promise that they would. The subsidies for non-citizens amount to up to 200% of what citizens will get. My friends, this man is out to destroy America, and he'll do anything he can to see to it that happens. He's ruling with a pen. He's not going through Congress. He's ruling his way. Also, I need you to be aware of student organizations on the college campuses. The Students for Justice in Palestine is an American university terrorist group. They go by a lot of other names, so many that it would be hard to fully keep track. Solidarity for Palestine Human Rights, Students Against Israeli Apartheid, Students for Palestinian Equal Rights, a lot of different names. But they're all recruiting kids to get sympathy for the people that are out to kill all the Jews. If you know students in college, in the university systems, let them know to watch out for these groups. Students need to know that their minds are open to being tricked. If you took away the guns from all of Palestine, there would be no war. If you took away the guns from all the Jews, there would be no Israel. Israel wants to live. They want to exist. The Israelis have some 255, I think, 255 Nobel Prizes for math and science. Islam? Nada. All they want to do is kill Jews. They'll put a bomb on themselves. They'll put one on their dog. They'll put one on their babies. Wake up. Know who these people are. Don't listen to the liberals. Multicultural, we have to let them in. We have to embrace them. Oh, sure, why not? Let's give them Islamic food in the schools. It's inch by inch by inch. They want this, and then they want that, and then they want this, and then they want that. And the next thing you know, you can't have a hamburger because McDonald's is serving halal food, and they can't cook your food with the Muslim food. Go to patriotradioshow.com. I beg of you, if you never turn in and listen to my show again, if you go to patriotradioshow.com, listen to the Muslim Brotherhood show, listen to Islam is Not a Religion. Do that. You can call up and argue with me. You can hang up and never listen to me again. But the truth awaits you if you'll open your eyes, if you'll open your mind to what is happening in America. And what's happening in America is what's happening around the world. They just have a head start on us, which means we have a chance to look at them and see what's happening and turn it around and not let it get so far out of hand. We can control it. They can't control it in some places. In France, there's whole sections of Marseille, whole sections of Paris that are nothing but Muslim slums. The police can't go in there. England has several areas where the British police forces can't go in because they're Muslim territories in their own countries. They refuse to, once they reach a population saturation where they know they can get away with it, they refuse to obey the law of the land, whatever land they're in. We obey only Sharia, which means they get to beat their wives and stone their kids, which means wives are property. They can rape them if they want to. The law of the land means nothing to these savages. Only Sharia. and part of Sharia is killing those who are not Islam. It's not too late to fix this. It really isn't. But at this point in the fight, if you're not doing something to help America, then you are part of the problem. So pick up the phone. First, listen to the shows, Muslim Brotherhood, Islam is not a religion. Then pick up the phone and start calling your congressman, your representatives, your mayor. Stop Islam in its tracks here while you can. Folks, God bless you and yours. This is Tom O'Halloran. I'm out.